Now, if you look up at night towards the sky, you'll find that there are many stars out there. To give you a roundabout estimate, there are 250 billion stars that we see that are present in our galaxy, which is called the Milky Way. So, the stars that you see when you look up in the sky, 250 billion, they are the stars that are present within our galaxy, known as the Milky Way. Our sun is just one of these stars, just one. And even out of these stars, it is known as the dwarf star or the yellow dwarf, because it is the smaller one out of the lot. Those ones are even bigger stars. So try to imagine the relationship between the Earth, the sun, which is more than 100 times bigger than the Earth, and then the relationship of all of these billions of stars that are around us in our own galaxy. Now the Earth and the sun together are moving towards a star within our galaxy known as the star Vega at a speed of 72,000 kilometers an hour. So the Earth is revolving on its axis, the Earth is revolving around the sun, and the Earth and the sun, our whole solar system, is moving towards a star known as star Vega at a speed of 72,000 kilometers an hour. And apparently our solar system is revolving around the center of our own galaxy, which is the Milky Way, which is surrounded by 250 billion stars. Now our Milky Way is just one of 300 billion galaxies. Let me repeat that for you. The Milky Way, 250 billion stars, including our sun, is just one of 300 billion galaxies which are present in the observable universe. Observable, why? Because there is a certain limit beyond which we cannot see, beyond which even the strongest telescopes cannot see. So the universe that we can observe, we know that there are close to about 300 billion galaxies out there, just like our own. And each of these galaxies has billions upon billions upon billions of stars and planets and God knows what else. So this should give us just a little bit of an idea of where we as human beings stand in the great scheme of things. Our galaxy, the Milky Way too, is revolving around a supposed center of the universe. So let me repeat the entire thing. Earth revolving on its axis, Earth revolving around the sun, our solar system revolving around the center of our own galaxy, our galaxy revolving around the center of the universe. And the speed with which our entire galaxy with its 250 billion stars is moving is a speed of 2.1 billion kilometers an hour. 2.1 billion kilometers an hour. This is the speed of our galaxy in which it is rotating. So the point to make over here is that even when we are standing still, we are still traveling at phenomenal speeds. Just like when we are traveling in a car or a train, we might seem to think that everything is still, everything is not moving. But when you look out the window, it seems like the trees and the buildings are going in the opposite direction. Yet in this great cosmological study that we have done, do we feel any vibrations while we are traveling at such phenomenal speeds? Do we even realize that we are traveling so fast? This is indeed a flawless balance that has been created by none other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now coming back to our own solar system and to our own planet, let's take the example of the moon. Now, before the Holy Qur'an came, it was previously believed that the moon and the sun both emitted their own light. Only 200 years ago did science actually prove that the light from the moon was in fact light reflected off the sun which was coming to the earth. However, it was mentioned 1400 years ago in the Holy Qur'an. It mentioned in Surah Al-Furqan chapter 25 verse 61, "Most blessed is the one who placed constellations in the sky and placed in it a lamp and a shining moon." The sun is referred to as Al-Shams. In this particular verse, it is mentioned as Siraj, which means the possessor of its own light, like a lamp which has its own light. The word used for moon is Qamar, And the phenomena to explain the moon, the word that has been used is munir, which shows us that it is borrowed light, that it is borrowing light from somebody else and reflecting it off. This was one of the things that was mentioned in the Holy Qur'an, which we only found out 200 years ago. Similarly, we'll talk about other things that the Holy Qur'an mentioned, which science has only proved recently. Let's take the example of the revolution of the sun. Previously, it was thought that the sun did not move and it was fixed in its place. Only until very recently did science prove that the sun also revolved. It was mentioned 1400 years ago in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 33. And He is the one who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, each floating in its own orbit. The word used here is yasbahun, which means revolving or rotating around one's own axis. Coming down to the earth, we look at the example of the water cycle, of how water evaporates, forms clouds, condenses, and then we are blessed with rain. This was only discovered in 1680, whereas the Holy Qur'an mentioned this phenomena in many verses, more than 24 verses. I'll begin with talking about Surah An-Nur, chapter 24, verse 43, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Do you not realize that Allah gently moves the clouds, then gathers them together, then piles them on each other, then you see the rain coming out of them." It further mentions in Surah Al-Mu'minun, chapter 23, verse 18, "We send down from the sky water in exact measure, then we store it in the ground. Certainly, we are able to let it escape with ease." So Allah Ta'ala is not only telling us how He forms the clouds and the rain, but He's also saying at the same time that if He willed, we could have let this water escape in a second. With a lot of ease, it would have escaped and it would have been of no benefit to you. That it rains and it evaporates and it's gone. But look at the blessing that He is telling us, that not only are we doing this process, but it is a process for you, so that you may benefit from it and give thanks to Allah. It further mentions in Surah Ar-Rum, chapter 30, verse 48, Allah is the one who sends the winds, and they raise the clouds, then does He spread them in the sky as He wills. Then He breaks them into fragments, then you see the rain coming down therefrom. When it falls on whomever He chooses from among His servants, they rejoice. And this is an exact definition of hydrology, or the process of the water cycle that we experience on earth today, which was discovered in 1680, yet the Quran mentioned it 1400 years ago. And finally in Surah Ar-Rum, chapter 30, verse 24, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Among His proofs is that He shows you the lightning as a source of fear, as well as hope. Then He sends down from the sky water to revive a land that has been dead. In these, there are sufficient proofs for people who understand."